This is Top Shop Podcast.
Top Shop Podcast.
A show way beyond the story. Get ready to accelerate your knowledge and stay ahead of the competition. Podcast for automotive service business owners by Paul Donahue.
Hey, Paul Donahue with Top Shop Podcast. I got a real special guest today, Jeff Cox. Jeff Cox has been the president and the COO of AMRA, the Automotive Maintenance and Repair Association, and also MAP, which is Motorist.org. These are two nonprofit organizations that if your shop doesn't belong to, Jeff's been the COO and the president for the last 7 years. I'll let Jeff, he can explain it much better than I am. I personally, my company is a member of AMRA, Automotive Maintenance and Repair Association, and your shop should also, because every time you have a badge on your website that says that you belong to a professional organization, that helps instill trust in the consumer, and that little edge can, when they go to your website, can get them to book your service at your shop instead of a competitor's shop. So we go over that when we talk to our clients about their websites and how imperative it is that that website establishes trust immediately as soon as that web page loads. And belonging to great organizations that help the automotive industry as well as help your website to ensure trust in the consumer is AMRA is a great way to do that. So without further ado, let me introduce Jeff Cox. Jeff, tell me about AMRA.
Yeah, thanks Paul for letting us be on your podcast. We're always really excited, to find ways to connect with, shops that really want to do the right thing for consumers. So I really appreciate the opportunity to speak today. But AMRA, the Automotive Maintenance Repair Association, it's been around since 1992, and in the early 90s there was not a lot of trust going on between repair shops and consumers. And there was, a lot of TV programs were running stings and things like that, where they were taking cars into repair shops and viewing it on 2020 and Dateline, and we got a lot of bad publicity. And I think today we still feel that when consumers take their cars into repair shops and they have some doubt about what's being recommended to them. And that's what we're really here to try and fix. And so since 1992, we've been establishing standards for recommending parts and services to consumers. We take every part on a car, whether that be a windshield wiper, a tire, or a sophisticated ADAS LiDAR sensor, and we document every reason why that part would fail. And then this database is used by shops and service providers when they look up why that part would fail. So they're doing that inspection and they get to that ball joint and they see that it's torn. Then they look it up, and yes, torn is a legitimate reason to recommend a ball joint to consumers. And that way, when they make that recommendation, they know that it's legitimate. And consumers, when they see that seal on the door that this is a MAP shop, they know that everything being recommended to them is only being recommended to them for good reason. So that's kind of the long way of how shops use it. Now with digital vehicle inspections, it's all done right in the inspection form, and it's so easy to do. So we've got about 22,000 shops on our program today. And so we're really proud of that number, although in an industry that has over 200,000 shops within it, we have a long way to go. And so, having opportunities to speak about it like this podcast certainly helps us get this reach out to maybe folks that are unaware of our organization.
Great. Awesome. So how do shops integrate? Because obviously I know what MAP is. I know what AMRA is. How does the consumer, like if I come into a shop, how can I quickly be sold by the shop owner or the person behind the counter that they're doing business? How can we utilize MAP to help, real quick, because you don't have time for sales pitches, but, just real quick when the consumer comes in, hey, by the way, you may not know, we're a MAP approved shop. And this is what we do that's different. How does the shop owner really integrate this in it so they can actually see an increase in their revenues, their bottom line, from utilizing the program?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right off the bat, one of the things that we like to do is just on the imaging for the shop. We like to put a decal out front that says MAP participating facility. So that's the first thing. So consumers see, they may not know what this means, right? When they're walking in, but they know that, hey, MAP participating shop, and it says trust comes standard on it. All right, well, I don't know what that means, but I like that word trust. So that's a good start. So now that they come in, and the service writer can just simply say, hey, we follow all of MAP guidelines. And we will only recommend parts and services to you that follow this industry-wide set of standards. And I think that's all they really need to say. Then we integrate into your inspection form. So even if you've never heard of us before, I bet that you're probably aware of the green, the yellow, and the red format on an inspection form. All the things marked in green, hey, those parts are good. All of the things marked in yellow, hey, that's a suggestion for replacement. Maybe it's something to think about in the near future. If it's in the red column, well, that is needs immediate attention, or what we call required. So that's a simple way and an important way for all of the shops to integrate the MAP program. Those are very simple things. From there, a shop will want to get access to the data, and they can do that through a couple of ways. One simple, easy way is we could have a link on your desktop at the service writer's counter, and you can click on it. It'll log you in. And you can use the website, and it works just like Google. You can punch in any part in there, and it'll tell you all of the reasons why that part would fail. Or, like I mentioned, we can integrate into your DVI. We don't sell DVI. We integrate into your DVI. We know that a lot of shops choose a digital vehicle inspection for various reasons, and a lot of them is outside the inspection itself. It's how well does it integrate into your CRM? How well does it integrate into your point of sale system? So we let you choose the inspection company that you want to use that best fits how you want to drive your business, and then we simply give them a set of code. They integrate it into the DVI, and now all of the MAP stuff is integrated. So on that inspection form, instead of having to go look up ball joint when you get to that on the inspection, when you touch ball joint on your tablet, all of the reasons will come up that it would fail. So maybe it's worn, maybe it's loose, maybe it's broken. You select the one that you see during the inspection, and it automatically puts it in the right column of green, yellow, red. Automatically informs that it's suggested or required, and gives the reason code for it. So we take all of the subjection out of the inspection, make it very objective, make it all science-based, and now you can transfer that over to the work order, and we even give language for the service writers to use to better explain why these parts and services are on the recommendation form.
Yes, I believe what you're discussing is, I'm not going to mention the name of the company, but it's they turn the tide, because there's this big, I bring my car in for an oil change, and then I'm told, oh, you've got $2,500 worth of repair work that needs to be done. And I think that you're just trying to stick me, right? So they have a way they turn it around to where they actually notify the customer ahead of time. Hey, I know your oil change based on the amount of miles you drive is about coming up. And by the way, we also noticed that the tires may need to be aligned, but we can check it when you get here, that kind of thing. So it takes that off of the consumer, but that software is pretty expensive. So this is the same type of end result that you provide for shops, but you're a nonprofit organization. All of the money that goes into from the membership and everything goes back into collecting the data, getting the word out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So tell us about your current membership and how that works. And am I correct? What you're doing is you're taking it off of the shop owner, and you're providing a third party's, here, look, this is what our MAP program says that you would need to get replaced, and soon, and why. So it takes it off of the shop owner and puts it onto here's this third-party software that's giving us this information. Do what you want with it. Is that kind of
you're exactly right, Paul?
Okay.
Having an industry-wide set of standards, it takes the burden off of the technician, it takes the burden off the shop. And if you were ever, as a shop, if you were ever to be in a situation where there was a car that was from your local news or anything like that come through, it puts a layer, and you can say, hey, we only recommend parts and services based on an industry-wide standard, and it puts protection on you as a shop owner. So it's just like anything, whether it's the UL label for electronic items, having industry-wide standards, it benefits the entire industry. And so that's what we provide. And you're right, we're a non-for-profit. We don't nobody's getting rich off of this organization, but we're all here to do it for the right reasons. And for shops, you would be surprised on how little it costs, and just to create full transparency on that, if you're a shop owner with less than 10 shops, it's $199 a year to join, and so that is just
good dinner.
Yeah, it's peanuts for what you get, and the using the standards is really just the tip of the iceberg for all of the things that we do. But yeah, it's and the reason why we made it so inexpensive is because we want more shops. We want a shop of any size, any revenue base to be able to join. And that's how we're going to combat this. If the more shops we have on our program, the more opportunities consumers have to be in a trusted shop. So that's the reason for it. Our membership currently, like I mentioned, we've got about 22,000 shops on it. We have all of the major service providers as well. They were kind of the first ones to join. After those times in the 90s, in addition to all of the regulatory pressure that the industry felt, we also had an issue with class action lawsuit firms. And so those class action lawsuit firms, they were going after every large organizations because they had the deepest pockets, and so it was really important for them to join and align with these standards to try to combat those class action lawsuit firms. But since then, we've been able to bring in thousands and thousands and thousands of independent shops, and bringing in the smaller and regional groups it's important to us. And so we are constantly trying to find ways to better support independent shops, create value for them, create content and articles and things like that they may not be able to develop themselves. And our partnership with Advanced Digital Automotive has been really helpful in creating content that we use in our website that we can share with you. And it's been a really good path for us because we know in those smaller shops that, especially the shop owners, that they wear so many hats. Sometimes they're part-time technicians, sometimes they're part-time store manager, and they have all of these roles. And thinking about creating things to help consumers understand service is not top of mind. And so that's where we come in, and we can help do some of that stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah. So so the current membership is only $199 a year, and that's for AMRA, right? AMRA.org.
That's correct. Yeah. And that's all you have to do is if you go to AMRA.org, you can go right onto the membership tab, and you could fill it all right there and join. So we try to make it very simple. Everybody's busy.
So how do shops integrate MAP into their shops? How do they integrate it? Did you already go over that, or?
Yeah, well, we covered that.
Okay, yep. How do shops integrate, and then the DVI integrate into others? You've already went over that, right?
Yep.
Okay. And why shops should utilize the program? That's pretty much there. Hey Jeff, how do you? This is always a good question I like to ask. How do you maintain your standards to ensure that they're current and they're accurate?
Yeah, that is that's a very difficult task for us, and something that takes a tremendous amount of effort. Today's vehicles, they are changing so rapidly with safety systems and especially with the EV vehicles coming and coming quickly. We are constantly looking at the standards, and the way that we do that is we engage with the engineers who develop the parts. Service providers, staff, we may be very technical, but we didn't engineer the parts, and we probably should not come up with all of the reasons why that part could fail. So we often create committees, and we bring on engineers from companies like Federal Mogul or SMP or Interstate Batteries, the people who make the parts that we install, and we bring their engineers in, and we talk, and they come and they may do a presentation, and we take a deep dive into, hey, what's changed with batteries? When lithium ion batteries become more normal, what kind of standards do we need to adjust? Are there new ones that we don't have? With all of these new different sensors for the ADAS safety systems, we're looking at all of those independently and bringing the folks that make those parts, and we adjust them every year. So we've got about 6,000 components and standards that we have to update every year, and we do that through committees, and certainly our memberships folks that want to get involved in that can do that, and we do that through some conference calls. We do that through some in-person meetings if need be, but we try to lessen the burden on everybody. But it's something that's important, and once we make that change to the standards, it immediately goes up, it goes live, and whether you're on the DVI or whether you're just accessing it through the link, the next time you log in, you will see those the new standards will be seen. So if it's a major change in something that we're doing, which doesn't happen all that often, then there's a communication that goes out, and then everybody can see it before it goes live. And a good example of that was we recently added pH to brake fluid as a way to recommend brake fluid to consumers as a pH out of specification. So when we made that change, a communication went out to everybody just so they know that this is coming, and then they could either use pH test strips to test brake fluid, or copper like they have been. So any of those kind of big changes, we always try to communicate that in our newsletters or in emails.
Yeah, speaking of communication, tell me about, because I've been to one of them. I went to one of your conferences down in Tampa. So tell me about the conferences. How often are those? Once a year, twice a year? I forgot.
Yeah, Paul, we 3 times a year.
I've already missed a couple. I've been busy.
Oh, you missed some good ones. We host these. We call them the MAP technical conferences. They are 3 times a year, and we just had one in Detroit a couple of weeks ago at the M1 concourse there in Pontiac, outside of Detroit. And in those meetings, we cover a variety of topics. Some of them very technical. Paul probably was falling asleep during some of those really technical presentations, but they're a necessity for us to get through. And what we try to do with those is we're trying to help service providers prepare for tomorrow's service, and help them think about, what kind of tool and equipment do we need to think about purchasing in the next couple of years? What kind of training do we think we need to add for our technicians within a couple of years? On the non-technical side, we may look at, hey, what's changing in consumer buying behaviors? How did COVID affect the way that people want to interact with getting their car repaired? Just a lot of those things. Technician shortage. We are not at the center of the technician shortage, but we certainly understand that everybody is feeling the pain of trying to staff up their stores, and so we feel like we have to be involved. And so we bring in experts on whether it's where to find good technicians, how to keep good technicians, best practices on anything from pay scales to tool programs and things like that, just to give all of the service providers an options and figure out, hey, what's going to work for my organization, what's going to work for this shop, and so on and so forth. So they all of the topics, the one thing they do have in common is it's how do we help shops with today's challenges, and that's the common thread. Some technical, some non-technical, but they always align to shop needs.
Yeah, I want to clear up something for a lot of our listeners. If you go to amra.org and take a look at the website, Jeff, his organization that he runs is really, for the shop owner. I guess what we specialize in shop owners that are doing $1 million to $10 million in annual revenue, gross revenues. That's kind of our target market. So, Jeff, I'm watching on my other computer over here. I'm watching Valvoline, Firestone. Tell me who some of the members of AMRA are. I think I think the shop owners listening. Is it float your boat here, because you've got some of the biggest you got some of the biggest companies in the automotive industry that have been members of AMRA for a long time. So you're for the small shop owner, and these big corporations know that, but they still belong. So tell us who some of the members are of AMRA.
Yeah, so to highlight the non-service provider side, we'll start there. You're going to recognize a lot of the brands and people that are members. So there are big companies like Valvoline and Shell that are members. All of your parts suppliers, so your Napa, AutoZone, Advanced Auto Parts, they're members. Your big tool and equipment companies like Bosch, Hunter Engineering, Coates, all of those are all members too. We've got data companies like JD Power. We have digital inspection companies, like ShopMonkey and Bolt-On Technologies. So it really is a who's who. If you Drive, which is the old Federal Mogul. So if you're buying Monroe shocks, we have them. The Garage Gurus, which is their training arm, are members. So we really, if you look around your shop and you look at whether it's parts or equipment, whoever you're dealing with, those folks are members, and they're really important members, because those are the ones that are helping us update the standards. So they play a really critical role. And then, companies like Firestone, both on the tire side, giving us tire information, and also all of the Firestone Complete Auto Care locations, and the TBC locations like Midas and Big O, and Tires Plus, yeah. Down in Florida, is a big one. In Minneapolis, that's a really, really powerful. Yeah. So those really how we got to that 22,000 locations. So, and there's more to come. I mean, it has just been really great this last 18, 24 months of just bringing on more and more members, as many organizations are just trying to find ways to better connect with their customers.
Yeah, well, as a standard procedure for all of our clients in the automotive industry, we're going to, highly recommend that they become MAP members automatically. So as part of our digital marketing growth programs, we need to have trust on the homepage. So we want their Google reviews, we want their whatever reviews on the homepage, but we also want those trust badges, whether it's a Chamber of Commerce member or Better Business Bureau or whatever organization that they belong to, industry association, and then you're the main association that we want to provide. So, and I just wanted to mention that to the shop owners. We got these really, really big corporations that have belonged to AMRA for a long time, and they put their input into AMRA, and that gets passed down to the guys that are running the small, $1 million a year shops, that are just really working on growing their companies into that 3 to 5 million range, which is the small business range, is that 3 to 5 million. So do you offer education or training to your members?
We do, and we have some training.
I mean, besides the conferences 3 times a year.
Yeah, so we offer training and education. We are not a training and education company. But with everything that comes out, there's always training and education that comes along with it.
Third-party information. It's really, really important. If it's not you saying I've been in sales a long time, it's always better if a third party says it, not you. So that's like when a website loads, you want it to be a current, modern-looking website, so subconsciously the consumer assumes the same about your shop. But you also want that social proof there, Google reviews and other reviews and then trust badges, because that subconsciously says, hey, other people have trusted the shop and they've left good reviews. I can too. That's what it says subconsciously. So that's the great part, I believe, about AMRA, is the shop owner is able to say, hey, here's this third-party program software. It's a nonprofit organization that we use, and explains why this part should be replaced. So it really takes it off the shop owner and puts it onto this third party. Am I correct?
Yeah, and obviously we're not the first ones to do this. We consumers do this all the time, whether it's using the Better Business Bureau, Consumer Reports, all of these different kind of validation companies, and consumers use it and they trust those third party validations, and so it's a great way to improve trust with your customers.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned something earlier, and I wanted to touch on that again. You mentioned the batteries. So the industry is changing radically. So, today's vehicles are a lot more complex. How do you help consumers understand the complexities of the services? Because, we're moving towards, electric vehicles pretty rapidly. So this is a complete shift in the automotive repair industry.
Yeah, it's a great topic and one we're spending a lot of time on. And we educate those consumers through a lot of video. And this is something that's great because we have these large companies that have these the animation departments and all of these things that they can create these animations about this emerging technology. They let us use it. They let us use it on our website. And you as a shop owner can send your customers and view this same thing. But we try to do it in simple ways. And so we do it through, whether it be sharing technical service bulletins. We do it through small video clips and things like that explain things to consumers. We do it through articles that we write. So there's just different medias that we try to use to explain some of this emerging technology. But it's challenging because it's changing every day.
Okay, so where can people go to learn more? I think I've already mentioned the website. It's AMRA.org.
Yeah, if you want to learn more about the membership piece of it, AMRA.org, that is our membership site. So you can go on there, and that's where you could fill out the application to join. Once you join, that will be the place where you go to see everything that we have, all of the training material, all of the regulatory. We didn't really touch on this, but we track every piece of automotive legislation and regulation in the country. And so if you want to know what the tire disposal regulations are in your state, we have them. And so you can go on AMRA.org to find all of that information. All events that are coming up, all that stuff is there. But then we also have Motorist.org, and Motorist.org, that's our consumer facing. That's our map consumer facing website, and that's where you can and that's all open. You don't have to log in or anything there, so you can see some of those videos that we have that's consumer facing, some of the education pieces. And so if you have an interest in that kind of stuff, that's where you would go to find that out.
And all this incredible amount of information is all at $199 a month, a year.
That's right. We don't $199 per year.
Okay.
Per year. There's no bronze, gold, silver levels with membership. You at $199 a year, you get the same access as those very large companies that are paying
or Big O or the rest
that are paying more than that. So so it's a great way to take advantage of the work that those great companies do. You get access to some really cool stuff.
Okay, all right, Jeff. I can't thank you enough for your time. It's been an honor to have somebody, in your position as a guest on my little but growing Top Shop podcast. So I really appreciate your time and effort. And everybody, AMRA.org, go there, sign up, and then notify your website company that you want that trust badge that I'm an AMRA member. Put on your website. $199 a year, can't go wrong. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks for the opportunity.
For additional automotive resources and exclusive content, follow us on Spotify and subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all our episodes. Thanks again for joining us in the driver's seat, and we'll see you next time for another thrilling episode of Top Shop.